iPhone 5S iOS 11 public release review video that's coming up right now. Let's go. So, what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and welcome to this iPhone 5S iOS 11 public beta review. In this video, I'm going to show you what it's all about. If it matters, should you go ahead and update it? Let's begin with a boot up test here in 3, 2, 1. And if it goes too slow, I will speed this video up. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to speed it up and show you the final results here. Okay, so the iPhone 5S booted up iOS 11 in about 46.25 seconds. So not the fastest iPhone boot up we've seen, and it's definitely getting a little bit slow when it comes to the boot up test. But I'm going to show you that we are, in fact, now running iOS 11 public beta release. How do I do this? I'm going to go into settings here on the iPhone 5S. Go into general. I'm going to go to about here and show you that we are on the 15A 5304J edition here. It would have been I if it was a beta release. So what is new here for your 5S on the public release? Well, if you watch my beta releases from the developers, there's not really anything new in terms of features here for iOS 11, but this is now available to the public. Whoever wants to download this, go ahead and get it now. All you have to do is download a beta profile and download it and test it out. Now, if you do want to download this, I recommend you make a backup for your 5S. Download the iPhone 5S iOS 10.3.2 package file and make sure that you have a backup. So in case you got to go back, you can go back. But with that being said, there's a new control center here in iPhone 5S for iOS 11 public beta. You've seen it in my developer releases. You're going to see it here in the public release as well. That's not going to change. Going into settings here, it is very customizable as well. So if we go into settings here, we go to control center here, go to customize control, you can go ahead and add things like the new screen recording feature, which allows you to screen record right from your iPhone. You can really populate that little control center too with a bunch of features. Now, just like in the past on other Android devices where you could change things right from the notifications tray itself, you can't change this right from the control center. You have to go into settings to do it, so it's an extra step, but we're kind of used to doing extra steps on iPhone, I would say. Over here on access within apps, this is kind of new as well, and you go ahead and turn this off, so if you're in apps, the control center doesn't activate accidentally. So if we turn this on, you can see a little bit buggy there. Every time I press it, it's not going. Now it'll access within apps. So that's a new feature there. Also, if we go down to Do Not Disturb here for our iPhone 5S, let me go into that. It's actually up a little bit higher. Do Not Disturb. You can see we do have the ability to enable this while driving. So let me find that here as well. You can see Do Not Disturb while driving manually or connected to a car with a Bluetooth. So basically, this is going to make your phone practically unusable while driving, which is definitely going to save you from maybe getting into an accident or something like that. So this is a pretty safety feature here for the iPhone 5S. Now, in terms of performance here, you know, it's not the fastest. I've seen the SE do pretty well in iOS 11 public beta review, but definitely this one's not the fastest. But I want to talk a little bit more about the feature sets as well. You have a new screenshotting feature here on the iPhone 5S. So if we go ahead and we screenshot on iOS 11, let's just go ahead and do that. Looks like it's a little bit laggy. You've seen how laggy it was there. So definitely this is not ready for prime time just yet. But you can go ahead and draw on the screen here. You could draw a little heart, say hello. I love you guys. Now you can see, so we go over here. All of these things are pretty much, you know, available here in the iOS 11. This is basically what we've seen on other Android devices, but it's cool to see it's right here. So if I can go ahead and share it right from the screenshot as well, just like so. You can see sharing right from there. You can also print right there too. So that's a pretty cool thing if you're in a screenshotting. But you can see it just takes me a lot of presses sometimes to get this thing to, you know, function. And now we have a little thing going on here. I don't know what's going on there. You can see sometimes things like this are happening on iOS 11 public beta. So I usually have to go ahead and unlock the phone and go back in the phone to get things to work again. So now you can see it's gone. So little things like that happen frequently here on iOS 11. Also, this public beta release gives you the new App Store design, so you do have the new Today view. You're going to see it in just a second, Today view. You do have the Games tab, the Apps tab, and essentially this just makes things bigger, more easy, and visually pleasing to look at. In the App Store, I think it's better for smaller iPhones, as I've mentioned in the past. The new weather application has an updated design in terms of fonts. At the bottom, they're bigger, and the iPhone, 5S does give you bolded fonts, throughout the UI. So iOS 11 is going for a more bolded font look when it comes to a lot of the UI elements, and I'm not sure why the weather is not loading here on my 5S, but we're going to get out of there. We're going to go into calculator here, and you can see a new calculator design. But like I was saying with the new bolded fonts, if I go into calendar here, you can see, I'm going to show you here. Let me go back, and you can see at July, let's go to June. So you can see like right there, bolded fonts on the June. You're going to see this UI element throughout the iOS 11 public release beta here. So if you like visually, bolded fonts, you're gonna like the iOS system. If you have the bolded text enabled, it's gonna even look clearer. So people who like bold fonts, you're gonna love iOS 11 in my personal opinion. Also get the new file system here on the iPhone 5S, which definitely brings quite a bit of functionality if you use cloud storage. It's not going to work amazingly well right now. It's still not, it's a little bit spotty right now. So I would definitely wait till the fall to start doing all kinds of transferring with your files here on iOS 11. It's going to work a little bit, but it's just not working great here. Also coming in the fall will be Apple Pay right from your Messages application. You'll be able to pay to pay. And let's go ahead and check out the camera here while we're doing this review to make sure that works, because I know a lot of people will not use a beta if the camera does not work. So let's go ahead and see how that works. You can see just fine there on the picture. What about video? See if we can get this thing to crash. So video is working fine here for the 5S. What about the square mode? Square is good. Panel looks good. Swiping through. Slow-mo is good. Time-lapse is good. So it seems like everything is good there when it comes to the camera. HDR looking fine. Timer looking fine. Filters looking good. So in terms of camera, you're going to be fine with the camera. Now, I haven't done a battery all day test yet on the iPhone 5S iOS 11. If you guys want to see that, comment that down below. Get a lot of likes on your comment. Maybe we'll make that happen. But definitely battery life, I can tell you right now, has been draining quite quickly on my 5S on iOS 11. And it actually has been draining quite fast in standby for me as well. So I can tell you battery is going to dip here on the 5S for iOS 11 if you do decide to go ahead and download this. All right, guys. So quickly, let's just do a very fast speed test. Let's go into calculator here, come out of there. Let's go into phone. Let's come out of there. Let's go into weather. And you can see not too bad. Let me go back into weather and show you that new font now that we're able to see it. Let's go into camera. And you can see it's good to go. Let's go into Twitter. Now, Twitter and third-party applications are what's going to be a drag here for iOS 11. And also, do note that iOS 11 developers haven't got their applications all ready for iOS 11. So you're going to run into a lot of error messages when you open an app. It'll say, this is not supported for iOS 11. So definitely keep that in mind if you are going to be downloading iOS 11 for your 5S. So right there, let's go into Temple Run. And Temple Run is going a little bit slow here for the 5S, but it opens up. Coming home here, let's go into Jetpack Joyride. This is a game here now. And let's see if we get that error message. I don't think we're going to get it here for this game. So this runs well. And we're not going to wait for that. That's taking quite a while. Let's go into App Store. And App Store taking its time. So this is definitely pretty slow, but I think it's more, it has to do with the hardware. The iPhone 5S's hardware in general is getting quite behind. I mean, A7 chip, this is the first 64-bit chip. It was just getting started here. We can go ahead and try a website here. Let's go to apple.com. Once you get into Safari, it's not too bad here for the iPhone 5S, but overall, the hardware is just getting quite stale here on the 5S, and that could attribute to why iOS 11 is not running extremely well here for the 5S. Apple wants you to update probably to their newer phones, but you can see multitasking seems okay, but I have seen the multitasking crash quite a bit. It's a little glitchy, a little bit hanging there, so it's not the best, but multitasking will work fine here for the 5S and iOS 11 public beta, just not great. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and run a quick Geekbench here on the iPhone 5S to see how it does perform here in the Geekbench test on iOS 11 public beta release, and you can follow this score, write it down or whatever, and as we come out with newer videos, you can see how much it is improving going forward on iOS 11. Alright guys, so you can see we scored a 1300 here on the single core for the iPhone 5S and a 2209 on the multi-core. So you can keep that in mind for future releases to see if it does update and get better here on the progression of iOS 11. But you might be asking yourself, Nick, should I go ahead and download the iOS 11 public beta on my iPhone 5S? I need a direct answer. I need to know now. And I would say no if you guys want to download this due to the fact that it's just buggy here on the iPhone 5S. Now, if you do want to try it out, that's totally fine, but I recommend you guys go ahead and do a backup as I do in all my beta release videos. You got to do a backup just in case anything happens. You're not going to have a problem getting back into your smartphone on iOS 10.3.2. So you can go ahead and download the package and go ahead and transfer it back to the iPhone 5S on iTunes. I have a video tutorial how to do that, but I would say just download it if you want to try it out. Don't download this as a daily driver. It's going to give you a headache. But anyway, it's still not ready for prime time. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor, go ahead and click the like button for me. Leave your video suggestions, comments, concerns, questions down below in the comment section of this video. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well. I will catch you all in the next one, and peace.